Hey everyone, my name's Jim Bob. How the hell are ya? So, some of my viewers may know that I've just moved into a new place, which has caused a massive gap in my uploading consistency. And although I do have videos coming soon, I just wanted to make an everyday kind of topic video about myself. Like the last one I made was about my disability, being epileptic. If you want an update on that one, I'm much better than I was back when I made that video. But this topic isn't sad and depressing per se, it's more like just something I felt like I needed to talk about because my friends and family know that I'm an introvert, but I've never really gone into detail about how my life is affected by this and how I feel about being an introvert in general. So I thought I'd make this little video here just for something for you guys to enjoy while you wait for my slow ass to get around to making these actual movie content videos. So here we go. So for those people who don't know what an introvert is, it's basically an individual who is often thoughtful, quiet and reserved. Introverts like myself, we don't seek out special attention or social engagements. I mean, not because we're boring, but because these events can leave introverts feeling exhausted and drained, which is exactly how I feel most of the time. It's not a particular area in my life which I actually like about myself, but at the same time, I'll never actually go out of my way to force myself to be someone that I'm not. A few prime examples of this is that I'm super anxious and nervous around new people. I mean, I shit you not, meeting new people or having to talk to them can really send my anxiety levels through the roof. I mean, if I'm invited to a party, for example, I could be all up for it when I'm asked, but then on the actual day, sometimes, obviously, when the day actually comes, sometimes I have to force myself to go. I mean, one is because I've already said yes, and two, I don't want to let the friend down who's invited me. But the other problem with that is that it adds more levels of stress. I mean, being introverted, I sometimes find social interaction very exhausting. And I did say sometimes, didn't I? Sometimes I could be the life of the party if I'm out and about, but I value my quiet time a lot. It's like, I'm not the most willing person to just willingly give it my contact number either, because to me, a contact number is something very private and personal to an individual, so I constantly, carefully select who I give my number to. And I don't like my phone ringing at all. It's kind of hard to explain, but when my phone rings, it's like my heartbeat increases and my nerves shoot through my body because I know that I have to stop what I'm doing and get into that mind frame that I could potentially be on the phone for a while. I have to put on a happy face because I don't want the person on the other side of the phone to think I'm, being a bit of a tosser because I don't want to talk to them. And a lot of phone calls I simply don't answer, and it's not because I don't want to talk to the person on the other end. And it's not that I'm being an ignorant bastard either, it's because it generally makes me feel drained and exhausted sometimes, I mean, especially if I'm not in the mood for social engagement. Well, yeah, and don't get me wrong, there are days when I could easily chat to someone on the phone for a while, but the main fear I have going through my head constantly is how anxious I am. And I feel with phone calls, I can't fully interact with that person very well. I can't see their facial expressions, I can't read their body language, I can only go by the sound of their voices. And it's really sweet that these people want to talk to you, but it's so much pressure on someone like me, and it sounds weird, but I'm just being honest. I've hung out with people in the past where we, after we've hung out, we shake hands, we we hug, we say goodbye, we go our separate ways. And as soon as I start heading home, in my mind I'm thinking, that was fun, it was nice to hang out. Now to pop some music in and clear my head and relax on my walk home. Then my phone starts ringing, and it's the same friend that I just saw. I mean, mate, that's really sweet, but we just saw each other. So what about FaceTime, Jim Bob? People may ask me that. FaceTime to me is better than phone calls because you can actually see the person, but to me, it will never be the same as the person actually standing in front of you. Now, FaceTime to me can actually make me even more anxious than phone calls sometimes because it feels like someone just randomly turning up at your door, especially if it's a FaceTime which is completely out of the blue. That, and I feel like I have to make sure my hair doesn't look like shit, I have to force myself to sound excited, and again, it's not that I don't like talking to my friends, I love talking to them. But the problem with me being an introvert is that I absolutely hate it when my phone rings, or if FaceTimes are dropped on me for random reasons. I don't usually mind as much if someone texts me first and says something like, hey, can I call you? And then I can make the choice on whether to say yes, or I can just call them back in my own time. So when coronavirus hit and we couldn't see our friends face to face for a while, and that the only way we can actually contact people as much as we wanted was via FaceTime and the phone, that was basically an introvert's worst nightmare. At times it can be pretty bad because even texting people can be exhausting sometimes. And again, please don't take this as if I'm a person who hates talking to people. It's not that. I go ages without responding to DMs on my Instagram sometimes because I get so many, and it can be a little draining. I mean, I generally forget to reply to some people sometimes, and I feel like a shitty person afterwards because I haven't replied to them for so long, so I keep feeling the need to apologise for the late reply over and over again. And I've got decent friends on there who just say, oh, don't worry about it, dude, don't worry about it. But I do anyway. And if some people have noticed in my content as well, people that I collaborated with so far, like Amari Points, The Greek Geek, Ray from Rated Ray Movie Reviews, absolutely lovely blokes, really nice people who I'd happily have a pint with. But if you've noticed the collabs I've done with them, we never actually talk to each other face to face. I mean, we film pre-recorded footage and then put the video together. That is usually my way of being comfortable collaborating with people without having to actually talk face to face, because I think if I talked to these people face to face, I would be a totally different person. Like nerves would hit, and I would stutter on words and stuff like that, and I wouldn't sound anywhere near as interesting as I do in my videos. I mean, because my videos are heavily scripted. And when I say like heavily scripted, I mean they are very, very heavily scripted and edited to shit. I mean, there's literally a cut in my videos maybe every minute or two due to the fact of the stuttering and the mix-up of words. You don't know what to. I don't always know what to say, and I think that's why I get so nervous with like FaceTime and like webcam collaborations as well, because what if I can't think of what to say on the spot? But if I script my videos the way I normally do, I could ramble on for ages. And I like doing those sort of collabs as well, even though most YouTuber collabs are when they're actually talking to each other. I mean, I'd love to talk to these people face to face, I really, really would, because these are lovely content creators, all of them. And one day, I would like to talk to them face to face. And I think the biggest push in my confidence this year was when I was invited to collaborate with the absolute awesome blokes over on the Talkin TV Podcast channel. When they asked me to collaborate with them for the first time, I felt so privileged and excited, but at the same time I was so fucking scared because I knew this kind of collab would be me on a webcam talking to these guys face to face. And bless them both, they were really kind and really, really welcoming and made me feel comfortable. And I remember explaining my situation to them, and they were like, dude, we get it, honestly. Like, we'll take it at your pace, it's perfectly fine. And for that, I was really, really grateful. It was really kind, really generous for them to think about me in that way and not put me in a situation which would overwhelm me. I've done 2 collaborations with Talkin TV, so I'll link them both in the description. And the other 2 collabs I've done with them were some of the best experiences I've ever had on this channel. Both of them were also definitely some of the most nerve-wracking experiences that I've had since starting the platform as well. And despite it being scary, I can't wait to collaborate with these guys again. They're awesome. So I think the experience with them wasn't only engaging for me as in it was a boost in my confidence, it was also an opportunity for me to learn, because these guys analyse the shit out of movies, which is something which I don't really do all that often. Like, my preference really when I talk about movies is to, make fun of them. But these guys really, really dive into the specifics, and when I did the first podcast with them, it was like, I didn't entirely know what to say. But on the second podcast, which I did with them, went so much better, and I was like rolling off their points, they were rolling off my points. It was incredible. It was an incredible experience. And if this particular topic interests you, I highly recommend a YouTube channel called Frank James. I will link one of his videos in my description, 10 signs that you're a true introvert. And it was really fascinating stuff when I was watching it the other day. So I guess the point I was trying to make in bringing up that experience is that introverts do know how to have fun. It's not like we despise talking to people, like we just don't like it whatsoever. It just takes a little more social energy for introverts to put themselves in these situations than it does with extroverts. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with extroverts. If you're an extrovert and you have all this confidence, then all the more power to you. And I'm hoping in the future, the more collabs that I do in that aspect, maybe I could come out of my shell a bit more. But I reckon I'm always going to be an introvert. I think when you're an introvert, it's in your blood, and it's kind of imprinted in you. But I think with stuff like this, and I mean, there are ways to manage it a little better. Another example being, I could be out with a friend, and at first I could be having fun. I could be like talking to this person. I could be diving deep into different conversations, seeing how they are, and what's going on and stuff like that. But then about maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours down the line into seeing this person, I can slowly feel my brain being drained of energy, and I'm like, okay, I think it's time for me to head off now. It's not always the case though. It honestly depends how you're feeling on the day. So yeah, before I wrap this up, I just want to say that I hope people don't consider me as rude or boring, because it's not that. I mean, it's not that I don't want to interact with people more often, it's just my brain simply doesn't have the energy for it. There are several other small creators I've met since starting this platform who I'd love to collaborate with or talk to more often, but there's so many I try and keep regular contact with, and it just never ends up happening. So if you want to collab or talk to me, I'm more than happy to. I'm just shy as fuck. But despite me rambling on in this video about how introverted I am and how it drains me sometimes, don't let that stop you from wanting to engage with me, because I'm a very open person, and I'll be happy to have a chat with you. So yeah, I just want to start by saying, like, thank you for the people who do talk to me and do interact with me and do engage in my content in this channel. And, you know, thank you to Talkin TV for the 2 collaborations. They're incredible experiences and have got me a little bit of exposure, so I'm always going to appreciate that. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. There wasn't really a point to this video in particular. I just wanted to get it off my chest. Alright, so take care, beautiful people, and stay safe.